Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona in oyster steel and yellow gold with a black dial reference 126503. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other Daytonas, then tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start. This is a Cosmograph Daytona, also known as the Daytona. It's Rolex's most iconic, most famous, most desirable, and best sports watch if you ask me. And when it came out was in the 1960s, I think around 1963 or so, and so that makes it around 60 years old. It's why do I say it's their most iconic line? Well, because they have the most number of Daytonas in any of their sports watches, variations that is. It's the most expensive sports watch that they make, and it's also the most complicated. And it's also the most desirable one, or it's also the watch that sells the most above retail of any of their other watches, specifically the stainless steel Daytona, which retails for 15,000 and resells for around 30,000. So it's like 2x. So, anyways, and the Daytona came about when Rolex was trying to figure out how they the name Daytona came about when Rolex was trying to figure out what to name their chronograph. They could have just called it chronograph, which I don't think would be very catchy. Giving it a name would be much better. And they were thinking between the name Le Mans, which is European, and Daytona, which was an American car race. And they went with Daytona because America was and is still their biggest market. And naming a watch Le Mans, well, the Americans might not recognize that and might not do as well and might not be as good for sales. So wisely, they chose the name Daytona, and here we are 60 years later with it being Rolex's flagship sports model, and voila, here you are. Okay, that's a little bit about the history. Now, there's a lot of models and stuff. I can't go through all of them. That would take me like an hour. But I'll tell you a little bit about how this one has changed since the new one, or since the last one. Okay, so let's start with where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Daytonas. Okay, now the Daytona is made in steel, steel and gold, yellow gold, rose gold, white gold, and then platinum in that order of price. This one is steel and yellow gold, so it's on the lower end in terms of price because the Daytona goes all the way up to like almost $100,000. And this is at it's retail around 20,000. We're selling it around 25,000 or so on Jazz Time, at least as of 2024. That's just where the market is. Anyways, so it's on the lower end, but doesn't mean it's low end. It's on the lower end of the spectrum. It's the lower end of the best watch that they make, so that's not a bad thing. Okay. All right. Anyways, so and it's steel and gold. They don't make a lot of steel and gold variations. I believe they just make like 4 with a white dial, champagne dial, the black dial that you see here, and the black diamond. They used to make tons of variations, but they slimmed down their collection. I suspect over time they're going to release some other ones, but for now this is what they have. So what you're looking at is the classic black dial with this with these sub dials. Now they did make other ones before in two-tone. They made many other variations, but all those variations are gone. I suspect they did not sell very well or was too cumbersome to have all these different variations. So Rolex wisely slimmed down their collection and just offered you 4 basic dials, which is what you see. Okay, that's where it stands with the lineup. Now let's talk about the case. This case is 40 millimeters. It's stainless steel. Now the watch itself is considered a two-tone, which is steel, yellow, gold, and steel. But the case, the actual case, the part that houses the movement, is 40 millimeters. And it uses an Oyster case, which is streamlined, which makes sense because this watch has racing reference to it, or heritage. And it makes sense to make a watch with slim and sleek, streamlined lugs. Kind of like a car or like a anything racing, having to do with racing. Okay, so that's the case, 40 millimeters, and it's always been 40 millimeters. That has not changed. You might think that might be too too big, or too small rather. Some people have asked for it to be bigger, but I don't agree. And when you see it on my wrist, I think you'll agree with me. Okay, now let's talk about the bezel, and this part is actually gold. It is 18 karat yellow gold, and that's why this watch gets the name of Oyster Steel, which is steel and yellow gold because of the bezel and also part of the bracelet. This part is gold, and the bezel actually has not changed between this one and the previous model. Neither has the case. Gonna be the dial. Now the dial has changed, okay, and the dial is a black dial, but what has changed between this and the previous generation, which was also a black dial, is that the hour markers are shorter and fatter on the old version and longer and thinner on this new version, which gives it a more of a vintage look. Also, the subdials, instead of being fatter, the ring, this gold ring that goes around, it used to be fatter. It used to have a fatter ring. Not that the ring was actually bigger, but the gold part that has this sort of around the subdial, this gold trim, if you will, it was much fatter. Now it's slimmer to match the hour markers, and also the gold trim was only shadowed in gold, which I thought looked not the greatest, to be honest. And now with the gold trim being solid gold all around, then it looks much better, if you ask me. It just matches. I don't know what they were thinking on the old ones. It just, be honest, it kind of looked lame. But now it looks good. Okay, so that is quite a big difference. The dial does make quite a big difference in the watch. Okay, now let's move on to the bracelet. The bracelet is an Oyster Bracelet, steel and yellow gold. Nothing that interesting about that because that has not changed either. Okay, so, and they only make it in Oyster Bracelet and rubber bracelet. So there you have it. Okay, now let's move on to the movement here. The movement is a 4131 movement. It has a power reserve of 72 hours. It's a successor of the old movement 4130. It has a nicer finish. You can't see it anyways unless you buy the Platinum Daytona. So there you have it. Okay, let's move on to the final thing, which is me trying it on. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. And as you can see, the watch looks perfect on me. I don't believe that 40 millimeters is too small. I believe, in fact, it's just right. It's supposed to be a slim, sleek racing watch, and therefore it should maintain its size as such. And there you have it. Now, what are my thoughts about Daytona? I kind of told you all along. I basically think it's the best watch that Rolex makes. It's the most complicated. It's really just fantastic. So, and they have many different variations, and there could be a case to be made for every different variation. In this case, is two-tone. What do I like about two-tone? Well, it maintains the beautifulness of gold, but also the strength and stability of steel, all meshed into one. And a black, you can't go wrong with black. It literally matches everything. So there you have it. If you want to buy this watch at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.